Welcome back to this edition of Grizzlies Daily. I'm your host Malik. It is a Tuesday edition, and we got a good game going on tonight. It is the Grizzlies taking on the New York Knicks in the iconic Madison Square Garden. The game is at 6:30. I don't know if it's showing on primetime television or not, but yeah, I'm probably gonna watch it on FanDuel because that's the spot to go to. Um, just some quick things to talk about with tonight's game. I I think this team. I think this team, and I want to go back to one of the comments when it comes to talking about the Grizzlies. It was actually from Sylvester Williams. He said, "With what I witnessed over the weekend, I'm convinced that not only the Grizzlies can make the playoffs, they can make some noise in there." Absolutely true. Absolutely true. I I know I said a lot when it came to the Thunder game, but overall, I am proud of this team because they do continue to fight when they can. It's just that second half, you really have to figure something out. And granted, we're not healthy, but I don't even think you can use health for this kind of thing because I do think there's a way where the Grizzlies can still figure it out without without some of their main guys. The only thing though is I I think we kind of have to call a spade a spade. I know we got on Islo about the shortened rotations and all this and that, but I I gotta be honest, I really kind of don't see too much wrong with them. I just think he needs to distribute the minutes better. And what I mean by that is, I don't think Santi Aldama needs to play 30 minutes. Granted, yes, I know you are depleted in the front court, but Santi Aldama 30 minutes, it ain't benefiting nobody. It's only benefiting the other team. Let's just be real. And that's just a fact of that's just the reality of it. I mean, even the last game, Santi played 30 minutes, minus 12. It's just I just don't see why he's getting that many minutes. Like just being honest. Obviously, I know we're not at full strength, but Santi playing 30 minutes, you're not gonna win with that. You're just not gonna win. As far as everything goes, though, I think in this game, you really have to neutralize Jalen Brunson. I would say the Knicks have done a good job of getting the others involved, so you do have to worry about those two. But I think ultimately it's shutting down Jalen Brunson, and more importantly in this game, and I mean more importantly, Jaren Jackson Jr. has to stay out of foul trouble for this game because once the Knicks get their shots going, it's very hard to stop them. And Jaren Jackson Jr. being in foul trouble, and most of these fouls, I'm assuming are probably going to be calls by Karl Anthony Towns. It's not a good look. It's honestly not going to lead to the Grizzlies winning. So that's another thing right there. Now, if you could do the complete opposite and get Cat in foul trouble, then you change the course of the game. You change the complete course of the game, and I think the Grizzlies have a better chance of winning. So, key to this game, Jaren, stay out of foul trouble. You need to stay out of foul trouble. And as for John Morant, just shoot the ball better. Drive. You have I'm sorry. I know he talked about not getting foul calls and all this and that. My guy, you have Jalen Brunson on you. If you don't take advantage, real talk. If you don't take advantage, and even if they switch Mikal Bridges, I think honestly, if they switch Mikal Bridges um, on to John Morant, I think that's when you bring in Cedric Howard because they more than likely gonna have to put somebody like Jalen Brunson on somebody else. I think Cedric Howard can match up with anybody that the Knicks have. So I think if Mikal is a focus on him, that's when you bring in Cedric Howard. That's just my ideology, and I think that's key. So win, obviously keep the turnovers low. Knicks are a team that can't execute the fast break very well. So if they get a good amount of fast break points, it's gonna lead to a loss. Just that simple. Real quick injury report. Same people injured. Nothing's changed. We don't really have an update on Zach Edey. So that's something. It still says left ankle surgery recovery. Unfortunately, I'm still waiting for that tweet where it says he's questionable. Doesn't seem like he's been with the hustle lately. So maybe that's a good sign. Maybe that's a sign that he is nearing a return, and they're just kind of letting him rehab at this point, which I'm not mad at. So, like I said, I'm hoping. I think sometime before Thanksgiving we will see Zach Edey return. As for the others, no real update, no time on when Brandon Clark returns, or an update on Ty Jerome. Which, oddly enough, we should be expecting an update for Brandon Clark because it's been that time frame of 4 to 6 weeks. So hopefully we hear an update when it comes to Brandon Clark. Ty Jerome, I think we still got about maybe a couple days before we really see an update regarding him. Obviously, Scottie Pippen Jr., and we're not going to hear about him until the All-Star break. And another person on the name is Javon Small, who is out with left toe soreness. He was out the last game with the same thing. Obviously, he's playing with the hustle, so probably got that injury during the hustle game. And I mean, like I said, Javon Small probably wasn't going to actually really play anyway, so it's no big deal when that comes to that. Now, let's talk about something that's really been making the waves on social media. I've been avoiding this topic, but clearly it's gotten out of hand because this is why I say show love to your local media and not the national media because they know more than the national media. The amounts of trade rumors I have seen regarding Ja Morant. I know he has been struggling. I know, but let's keep it spade to spade. That man is not going anywhere. He's just not going anywhere. We can have our conversations. We can have our talks. I'm going to keep this short and simple because I really don't want to even talk about this because it's the same thing that we had to talk about during the offseason, and it's like he's not being traded. I've heard things from the Timberwolves monitoring the situation, which is something that every team does. I don't know why it's a big deal. Every team is going to monitor if a star seems unpleased with the situation. They're going to make calls about it. It's just that simple. Some of these trade offers, though, have been blowing me. I can't lie. I literally saw one. I'm not even joking. And I'm picking up the mic for this one. I saw one where it was an offer for the Miami Heat. It was Ja Morant for Jaime Jaquez, and take a wild guess, Terry Rozier. The man arrested by the FBI for gambling. That's why I say please don't take these rumors seriously because people don't even do their research. Why would the Grizzlies trade one supposed problem for a much bigger problem? Not to mention, Terry Rozier trade talks in 2025 are insane. I'm sorry. He is not the player that y'all think he was. That's just the reality of it. Now, some of the offers I've seen as far as the Timberwolves, I ain't mad at him. I'm not mad at him. Do I like him? No, but I'm not mad at him. But regardless, I think we need to relax when it comes to the trade rumors. I really hope y'all take these with a grain of salt because it's not nothing. And the team has shut down multiple times, and I can't express this enough. The team has shut down multiple times that Ja Morant isn't going anywhere. There aren't any talks, there aren't any rumors, and it's been shut down multiple times. But that's the media that we live in now. Hot take culture, where they think they're just magically right, and low key it's because the Luka trade and nobody expected that kind of thing. So everybody's like, oh, anybody's up for grabs. Yes, but not Ja Morant. Not right now, at least. So just shut those down while we're at it. So that's my thoughts on that. That's all I'm really saying on that. I don't really want to talk about it anymore. Now, something that we do need to talk about. We need to talk about Jaren Jackson Jr. because I was afraid this was going to happen. And not saying this is going to lead to anything, but it definitely needs to be a conversation. Is he the right fit in the future for the Grizzlies? Now, I'm going to give two perspectives on this. I'm going to give the perspective of someone who may not be the biggest fan of Jaren Jackson Jr., but still kind of respects him. So, when it comes to Jaren, I think the Grizzlies need to go all in on finding out who's the biggest asset for them at center. Because it isn't Jaren. Jaren cannot play the center position. We know that. But regardless of Jaren's game this year, how you may feel, he's not playing terrible. He's not playing terrible. I'm looking at his stats so far this season. He's in 11 games, he's scored 17 points. Well, he's averaged 17 points. Let's see, 1.5 blocks a game, 5.5 rebounds, which I would like to see him increase. And he's shooting not bad from the field. He's shooting 39% from 3 and 51% from the field, which isn't terrible. It's not terrible at all. The only thing is he's doing this in 28 minutes. So I would like to see Jaren in a world where he can play at least 35 minutes a game. The only problem with that, obviously, is the fact that, Jaren does have a foul issue. That goes without saying. I think when it comes down to it, I think in order to get that out of Jaren's game, I think you need to be in a world where you you kind of just take him out of the screens altogether. I think you I think you set up off. I want to see a world where we kind of set up off ball plays for Jaren. Even if it's just even if it's just a screen that sets him up for a three, or a screen that sets him up to cut in the post or something. I think a world where we see Jaren move off the ball instead of, him getting the ball and working from the top of the key. I think if we see that more, we'll see Jaren kind of play his game. And that's not me saying completely cut out the post game, but I think more off ball play for Jaren would set him up for more points and honestly give defenders more trouble, and it would cut down the offensive fouls that he gets. So that's something that I think I would like to see when it comes to Jaren. Now, speaking of the perspective of somebody that's optimistic about Jaren, I think Jaren is somebody that just isn't going to make it as a number two option. Not at least with this team. And the reason I say that is because I am starting to have my skepticism on Ja Morant even being a number one. So I think if you bring in if the Grizzlies were to bring in a solidified number one option, then we're talking a different ball game where Jaren is the third option, Ja is the number two option, and you got an all NBA player at the number one. That's how I look at it. I think that's the identity we're missing with this team. And I think there's a world, and it's honestly okay. I think there's a world where that's okay. I mean, you look at a guy like Kyrie Irving, who used to be a number one option. He was a number two when Luka got there. And let's be real, he was a number two when he got to Brooklyn. That's just the reality of it. I think it's okay to say Ja Morant isn't a number one option. And it's okay to say Jaren Jackson Jr. isn't a number two. I think in order for the Grizzlies to get the success that they can, because they have a very good team around them, you need an all NBA talent to be your number one star. That's just the reality of it. It's been 8 years. Well, it's been 7 years with this tandem. You got rid of Desmond Bane. You realize that, hey, we're still missing one piece. That one piece is an all-NBA player. I don't know who it is. I really don't know, but I think you throw in your chips and see if you can try to get that kind of player. Now, will it be difficult to try and do that? Yes. Obviously, with you paying that money to Jaren and then other players, it's going to be very difficult to trade for a guy like that. So I think if there's a world where the Grizzlies could fleece a team, I don't know how, or simply just try to snag them in free agency, I think there's a world where we can pull that off. And the Grizzlies are a much better team than they look, because I think right now we're seeing the effects of that, not having a true number one, because we're getting to the point where, John and Jaren, granted they're struggling right now, but we're getting to a point where you looking at them on the box score, they're combining 9 for 38 from the field. I think if you have a solidified number one, that changes. That absolutely changes. They need a scorer to take over this game. And yes, Cedric Coward can be that piece, but we're talking about a rookie, and I don't think he's quite at that point just yet. He's on pace to make great progress, but I don't think he's quite at that point to where we can look at him as a solidified number one option. So that's my thoughts on that, and I think that's how we need to look at this whole Jaren and Ja kind of thing, is that I think they're just missing one piece, and that one piece is the true scorer that they're looking for. So if Kleiman can find a way to pick up the phone and figure something out, then I'm all for it. But that's going to wrap up this edition of Grizzlies Daily. I really appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you get notified when the next video comes out. And that's for this edition. I will see y'all tomorrow to talk about the next game. Peace.